actual murder charge since he was participating in what happened that night?
The way that this office chose to charge this crime is to be very conservative. And so we conservatively brought forth the charges that we believe are appropriate for each of the defendants. And I, along with my team, made a decision that we would only, against Mr. McKinney, pursue the gang charges.
Well, let's talk about this gang footprint and what may have been going on to lead them to barricade on this night. Was it initiation? Was it a promotion type of activity within the gangs? What was their motive?
Their motive was that a member of their gang had been killed, and it was outrage to the loss of that life.
Are you referring to Mr. Brooks?
I am.
He was a member of the gang with them,
Correct.
and they were upset about his death and participated in revenge.
They participated in a takeover of a public street.
Is this an emotional case for you? What are some of your personal feelings about what happened and your chance to get in here and make things right about it?
You can't be a human being and not mourn for the loss of this child. I'm in a job where I mourn for a lot of people that are met with tragedy in our county. And so, do I think that this is wrong or have emotions around it? Certainly. But the way this indictment was crafted and the way we will pursue this prosecution will not be emotional. It will be doing what is necessary to bring justice to this family.
Dear Willis, what leads you to believe that there's other people out there with culpability in this case?
I've got video evidence that shows that there are other people out there with culpability. What I need is them identified. Well, we thank.
What does this say about how this case, how this situation was handled by the city? The fact that this intersection was 3 weeks after it was first taken was still being controlled by, armed vigilantes. What does this say about how this was handled from all aspects of city government, please?
I'm not going to comment on what will become part of great civil lawsuits. As we all know, standing here, what I am going to tell you that is us as a community have to be mourning this awful situation today where members of our community were allowed to stand out on the street with what one of my DAs refers to as an AK necklace, just brazenly holding an AK around their neck and walking back and forth and having the audacity to stop city buses and citizens that wanted to travel down this street, and for us ultimately losing the life of a baby.
Will you be sharing any of that video of the evidence you have with us so we can broadcast it to people who may know these people
Yes.
today or in the future?
What is the situation with gang activity that continues to go on in Fulton County that this refers to?
I do not understand the question.
They're part of a gang,
Yes.
and that gang is still operating.
That gang is operating nationally and certainly in the boundaries of our county. Yes, that is correct.
And so what is the concern you have about gang activity continuing even past July 4th, 2020?
My concern about gang activity is ongoing, and it is daily. One of the tenets of this office now is that we are going to take a tough stance against gang crime. What we understand is that a lot of the violent crime that we are seeing is at the hands of gangs, and so it is terribly concerning, and we are empowering law enforcement to look for gang evidence, to use gang evidence, and that if they bring it forward, this office will prosecute it and put our best and our brightest on it every time.
At what point was the link to Rayshard Brooks' involvement with the Bloods? At what point did that come up, and how did that sort of crystallize things as far as, that this was a gang operation?
Well, Christian, I know that you recall that my office began to spot indications of that, but we are a very cautious office. I tell my people, let's don't overdo it. Let's just do what the facts and the evidence show us. And so we took the evidence that we suspected we were seeing, and we gave it to the Georgia Bureau of Investigations. And I cannot praise Vic Reynolds enough for, one, taking me up on my offer to, in fact, put someone on this case and investigate it. But they did a really good job and a thorough job of investigating and taking their time. And through that investigation, these things that we were already seeing in the Atlanta Police Department's investigation became crystallized.
And in the warrant, it says that the GBI had already, from a prior investigation, established Rayshard Brooks as being a member of the blood. Is that correct?
You know that I do not have access to the Rayshard Brooks case, as I was recused from it, but through some of the file that was turned over to us in this investigation, that my guess is also in that investigation, that is information that they did know. But it was not information we initially had access to. Well, we thank you for your time this afternoon.
Thank you.
Thank you.